hottest topics, the latest rumors, in-depth discussions, and the biggest headlines. Your weekly WWE fix all in one place. Find us on YouTube, iTunes, Automatic, and SoundCloud. This is the Main Event Podcast with your hosts, Arif and Raza. It's time for the main event.
Wait, hold on. Did you hear that?
What's that?
Did you hear that, Raza?
What was I supposed to hear?
I'm sure you've just heard what I heard. I'm sure the listeners have just heard what I heard.
Enlighten us. What did you hear?
I have top billing on the podcast.
I thought...
I'm the most important person here.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Move over, Raza. This is now the Arif show.
Watch our subscriber count drop.
No, come on, people. You know you love me. Let's do this. Okay, well, welcome to the main event. I guess I should read this. Then the spelling on this is terrible. Welcome to the main event podcast. This is your host, Arif. I'm here with my good friend Arif. You've written out everything.
You'll get there with a little bit of practice.
You know what? Maybe you take it for this week.
I'll take it. Yeah, it's been a very strange week in the world of WWE this week. I'd say certainly underwhelming episodes of Monday Night Raw, SmackDown Live. We'll get into that. Yeah, it says that right here as well. Does it? Thank you. And it says a lot when the biggest news that's come this week has come from somebody who's not even in the WWE. Some controversial comments a certain individual made, and the fallout as well, which we'll address just a little bit later on as the build-up to SummerSlam continues. So also, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Main Event Podcast. Hope you all have a fantastic week. And I hope you've all caught up with Monday Night Raw as well as SmackDown Live. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you didn't, let us know.
We're going to spoil it.
Oh, yeah. The spoiler alert.
We're going to spoil it so badly.
Yeah. As always, I'm your host, Reza, and I'm joined by, as per usual, as you heard, everyone's favourite co-host, Arif. How's it going?
I think Raw and SmackDown spoiled themselves this week, to be fair.
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
But we will get into that as the brand extension, ratings, draft, battle, whatever you want to call it, continues. The build to SummerSlam continues. Less than 2 weeks remaining now. We'll get to the talking points of each show towards the end, where we determine who won the battle this week between Raw and SmackDown, both inside and outside of the ring, along with other updates going on behind the scenes as well, which we will definitely get into. We're discussing Finn Balor, Roman Reigns, and much more in episode 54 of the Main Event Podcast, so stick around for all that and much more. Before we do get on with the show, just to remind you that there are plenty of ways you can tune in every single week. You can subscribe to us on iTunes, as well as YouTube, so please subscribe to our channel, like the videos, comment, recommend to your friends. We'd greatly appreciate all of that. And you can also catch us on Podomatic as well and SoundCloud. Thank you to the Podomatic listeners, by the way. You guys are really helping us grow there.
What did they do?
Quite high in the charts. All you need to do there, search for the Main Event Podcast and you will find us on all of those platforms. Before Arif intervenes, we do have an email
address. Thank you for listening.
tmepodcast@gmail.com. If you ever feel the need to email us, no pressure.
We appreciate all of you.
And the social media links are in the description section, wherever it is you're listening, including our brand new Instagram, where we'll hopefully be posting regularly, just some news, updates about our podcast, and things like that. So search for TME Podcast and you'll see us there. And give us a follow too while you're there as well. We'd appreciate that.
Maybe like a couple of the photos.
Please do.
Maybe look for Raza, and then maybe send him a bit of hate mail from your Instagram. You know, it's all love.
It's up to you if you want to do that.
It's all love.
Right, no more time wasting. Let's get on with today's episode, and we're kicking off in different fashion this week. We're kicking off with UFC featherweight champion Conor McGregor. Do you know?
Kicking off with real kicking.
Real kicking, you could say, yeah. Do you know what's been going on? Do you know what's been going on with Conor McGregor?
I've heard, but I think it's to the benefit of the podcast if you enlighten us all.
We'll quickly run through it.
Let's go.
For those who don't know, or those of you who do know McGregor, or avid fans of or followers of the UFC, you'll know he's outspoken, brash, cocky. He backs it up most of the time. You'll know he lost to Nate Diaz at UFC 196. He has his rematch with Diaz at UFC 202. Free promotion for the UFC there.
And who else is fighting on UFC 202?
Who is fighting on UFC 202?
I think you know.
I genuinely don't know.
The pipe bomb.
I'm pretty sure that's not UFC 202.
And that's not who I was talking about, but he is also fighting on one of the UFCs. I will Google. You stole.
But yeah, in a media call earlier this week, there were questions about a certain potential future in the WWE, let's say. He says some things that haven't gone down quite well with the WWE fans and the superstars as well. And I think we should make it clear that Some people will think his comments are his genuine feelings. Others will think he's hyping up his fight. He is a businessman, a very successful businessman. He's trying to get reactions. Everybody's got their own feelings about it. So nothing we say now is concrete. It's our opinions and obviously McGregor's opinions. Is that enough stalling for you, Arif?
Yeah, CM Punk's fighting at UFC 203. So let's just move on.
Yeah. He said in an interview, and it's not word for word, he said he respects...
Numbers are hard, Reza.
Oh, they? It's okay. He said... Sorry?
Numbers are difficult. Letters are difficult too, but numbers are difficult more so.
He said he respected the McMahons, Triple H and The Rock, but he called the rest of the WWE superstars pussycats. It's probably the best way to put it. He said he gives credit to Lesnar for fighting, obviously, despite being juiced up. He couldn't comment on CM Punk because he hasn't fought inside the octagon yet. Then, as expected, WWE fans went ballistic, defending the organization, defending the art of wrestling and everything like that. Then McGregor followed that up with a tweet saying, I didn't mean no disrespect to the WWE fans. What I meant to say was that I'd slap the head off your entire roster and twice on Sundays. And this is where the real fun begins. Because WWE stars from left, right, and centre have responded. Some that aren't even in the WWE anymore.
Lit a fire.
On it. Defending wrestling, basically. A bunch of hate. But McGregor hasn't responded to any of them directly, despite still tweeting on his account. Just want to read a bunch of tweets, statements out before we discuss how either ignorant the comments were or how they were a smart move, depending on what we and everyone else who's listening thinks. Ric Flair said, coming from a guy who built a career copying my persona, I expected the type of class we get from Ronda or Anderson, obviously referring to Ronda Rousey and Anderson Silva. Chris Jericho. First, Jericho replied, never heard of him, when a fan asked. That's Chris Jericho for you. And then he said, sorry, pal, no disrespect to you, but my fights are legit. Unlike the fixed fights you have in the UFC, I'll embarrass you. That's just classic Jericho. Trolling McGregor. Kurt Angle, very funny little guy. Why don't you get your head out of Dana White's ass?
Okay, so now that you've described him, what did Kurt Angle say?
Kurt Angle said, very funny little guy. Why don't you get your head out
I thought you were describing Kurt Angle.
No. Why don't you get your head out of Dana White's ass? We're going to say here for ages. Sasha Banks saying, bring it. MVP referring to the way he lost. Roman Reigns saying, you're the size of my leg. Shut up. AJ Styles said, I think McGregor could do well in the featherweight division if the WWE had one.
You think some people have just taken the bait?
Rusev, so much talk for a guy who fights 15-minute matches twice a year. Good for you, Conor McGregor. Big E.
I've legitimately not heard these before. This is awesome.
Yeah, Big E said, would you prefer to find us individually or have us all line up at once? I know your time is valuable, sir.
The 3 ain't enough. Maybe he needs 5.
Yeah, I mean, the list goes on. Coach, Kofi Kingston, Dana Brooke, Mojo Rawley, your favourite. On and on. Sheamus.
What did Mojo say?
He posted a picture of himself, in a club with Nate Diaz, the guy who made Conor McGregor tap out. So throwing shade there a little. The face you make after you tap out. Hashtag you tapped out. But yeah, Sheamus has said a lot about his Irish compatriot. JR said what you just said. He baited the stars and he surprised most of them responded the way they did.
I think they're going to, though, aren't they?
I think Samoa Joe had a more sensible response, not calling him out. I think it was the fishing emoji, something like that. Like, yeah, people have bitten what McGregor wanted to do. He did say, the key thing here is that Dave Meltzer, he noted that this wasn't a work. These were genuine comments. He said, Conor thinks he's smart. A lot of wrestlers are genuinely pissed off. He's doing this attention for build-up to his fight and building a wrestling angle. Based on that, based on what McGregor said, based on what the wrestlers have said, what are your thoughts on his comments?
I mean, so it makes sense from a business point of view. From Conor McGregor's side, any business is good business, and any sort of personality and popularity that he can show and throw out there, whether it be good or bad, it's going to bring in revenue, and that only benefits him. And if he is a fighter that only cares about money, then that's all that matters. But surely an act like this and a move like this brings that negative spotlight over to you and closes the door to potentially the only place you can really go after UFC.
Yep. An organization bigger than the UFC as well, you have to understand.
An organization bigger where his name would be huge.
Guaranteed.
So, like for example, let's say Floyd Mayweather decided to come to the WWE. His name is huge.
Look what he did at WrestleMania.
Exactly. And he got paid $20 million to do that, allegedly. And I think Conor McGregor doing something like this really and I don't mean that it's ever going to close the door completely, but it really sours the relationship that he ever had with the WWE.
I agree.
I mean, one of the main reasons why Brock Lesnar was able to come back was the fact that he didn't throw dirt on WWE's name. Not to this level, anyway. And this really, really, really sounds like a stupid move.
That's a good point there with Brock Lesnar. We did know they were a bit estranged between his relationship between WWE and Lesnar, but he still didn't say anything. And
he still showed that respect both to Vince, both to the roster, and I think that's what it is. It's one thing if you're dissing the WWE as it is. It's another thing if you are destroying the name or the livelihood of these people who have worked so hard to get there.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
I agree. I think it's good that the WWE and wrestling stars in general have united to defend against what I believe is a ridiculous statement. Again, we need to stress we don't know how McGregor meant this. It could. But then
look at it this way: is wrestling meant to be real?
Not anymore.
Exactly. We're in a generation where everybody and their grandparents know that wrestling is fake.
Yeah.
We don't have chair shots to the head anymore because they're deemed too dangerous. We don't have certain moves anymore because they're deemed too dangerous.
Yeah.
Wrestling is an art form, and as an art form, it's highly entertaining. I would say more entertaining than UFC is. UFC is fighting. Wrestling is basically glorified acting and glorified athletics. So for Conor McGregor to say he would kick the Russo of the WWE every day and twice on Sundays, it's a bit of a moot point because, yeah, he's supposed to. He's a real fighter, but he wouldn't be able to act better than them, right?
That's true.
Is that, I guess...
Fair point.
That makes you into more of a man.
I mean, I understand that he's a heel of the UFC. He's a businessman. He needs to get people talking about him, and he's done that because, we're talking about him right now. But if those comments are genuine and he feels that way, then I think he's deluded, desperate, doing whatever he can to get attention, which is a shame. Because before this, I didn't really mind Conor McGregor's persona, but there's no way I'm jumping on the bandwagon. I agree with most of the WWE guys as well. I don't think this just stems from Conor McGregor as well. I think it reaches to his blinded fan base who chirp a lot as well, so much. Yes, we aren't stupid. We aren't 5-year-olds. We know this is scripted. And I think that's the thing that even grown, deluded men on social media fail to understand by jumping on the McGregor bandwagon. That is, scripted. The moves they do, as protected as they might be, most are real. We have to agree with that.
It takes a lot of athleticism.
Yeah, they hurt. I'd love to see McGregor dive off the top of the cell through a table and tell me it doesn't hurt. Tell me that's acting. I'd love to see little fanboys doing that as well.
I think you're getting very heated right now, Reza.
It does annoy me as a WWE fan, as a UFC fan as well. So I think I'm more of a neutral here. But I think WWE fans WWE superstars get injured. They put in work 365 days a year. They're away from their families for longer periods.
And
twice on Sundays. They're away from their families for longer periods than McGregor or any UFC star for that matter. So I am annoyed. It's hard to imagine how annoyed the wrestlers are as well. I think they were all right in what they said and how they responded. So yeah, for me, it's ignorance. Any words that if the time came, they could get him in trouble. Yeah, he's a mixed martial artist. Yeah, he's dangerous. Yeah, he tapped out to Nate Diaz like a little girl. Probably using the same hand he said he'd slap their heads off with. I look forward to happening again.
Shots fired.
Because I think he will.
UFC 203 on the same card as CM Punk. We're going to get Reza versus Conor McGregor.
But yeah, I think he will lose again because I think his wrestling is weak. But if the time came in a fight, I still think the majority of the WWE roster would kick his Russo, not in a standing mixed martial arts fight. Some of them could, but we will get into that. The key thing here is he didn't specify a weight division. He called them all out. Forget Reigns, Rusev, Big E, half the NXT guys who could genuinely kick his Russo. The cruiserweights could probably do it as well because what is the cruiserweight limit? Is it 190 pounds?
Sorry, you just carry on. I'm just writing out a message to Conor McGregor.
He threw me under the bus.
My friend Reza would like to meet you in a dark alley where he will kick your Russo. Do you reckon he'll know what a Russo is? Kick your Russo.
Okay, yeah.
Up and down.
And twice on Sundays.
And twice on Sundays.
But yeah, I was asking...
Kindest regards, friend of Reza, Anonymous.
But I don't share his views.
Send.
Please don't hurt me. But yeah, as in, he didn't specify weight division. He called them all out. I think even cruiserweights could probably do that. What is the cruiserweight limit? I think in the cruiserweight classic they were saying 190 pounds. And Conor McGregor
so he's lighter than a cruiserweight.
Conor McGregor fights 135, 140 pounds.
This is ridiculous then. So why does it...
And I think that's what plays a big part in this. But yeah, silly comment.
It's all talk. It is all talk, though. We know it is.
Business-wise, it could work.
It falls into this sort of category, though. It falls into the category where people are taking the bait, and even yourself is taking the bait. Look, at the end of the day, he can talk all he wants. He's doing it for a reason. I think WWE fans, are the worst fans to annoy. Because they're going to be just as stubborn and just as against this as the WWE superstars. And because of this, he potentially is going to lose a fan base.
But it's not just that. I think I'm annoyed based on not just McGregor's comments. He's entitled to his opinion, but it's his fan base as well who think this is gospel now. He said it where no one's allowed to like the WWE. That's what irritates me the most. Obviously, business-wise, it could work. If it's genuine, then I think he's more stupid than he originally was because, as you said, he's destroying his own fan base. So then the question you have to ask, who do you think could genuinely beat him? I think in a wrestling match, he wouldn't stand a chance. That's a fact. Everyone knows his weakness is wrestling. So,
especially if he's facing Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan is never going to let him go.
That's the thing. People like Bret Hart, people like Kurt Angle, even Chad Gable now, an Olympian. People like... I think, how can you say that about Kurt Angle? He won your USA, an Olympic gold medal with a broken freaking neck. I mean, that's toughness. But yeah, I just want to know who you think could beat him in a real fist fight. Let's not say a wrestling match. Standing fist.
So you mean straight up, no holds barred, anything goes.
Anything.
Wow. I mean, it's got to be someone. It's difficult. Are we saying that his opponent has to be the same size as him?
It can be anyone because
be anyone.
As Mr. McGregor said, he didn't specify weight division, so anything goes. I'm guessing. I think you can get Sin Cara because I've heard he has a lot of fights backstage. So you could just send him. He'd probably sort it out.
Simon Gotch.
Yeah. I think for me, I'd say Rusev with an MMA background stands a chance.
Game over. Game over. That's it.
Yeah, I think...
Send Rusev in.
I was thinking Shinsuke Nakamura. I know we were discussing this before. Shinsuke Nakamura, I'd consider him, but then you have to consider his MMA fights were in Japan, so they were probably more fixed than anything.
What are you trying to say, Reza?
I'm saying that Japanese mixed martial arts is more fixed than anything.
I'm trying to say Japanese mixed martial arts is fake.
No, it's fixed. Del Rio might even stand a chance. You know, he might give Apero a good fight. He has mixed martial arts, but for me, the one that I don't know if it's just mixed martial arts. I know Heath Slater's got combat experience, but for me, I'd say Baron Corbin, former Golden Gloves champion. He'd sort it out.
And his stomach would eat him.
Exactly. Isn't that a distraction?
No. To be
fair, have you seen Conor McGregor's stomach? He's got his own tiger there, so they'll probably just stare at each other's stomach in disgust and there'll be no fight.
The tiger versus the blob.
Yeah. But yeah, I think end of the day, Brock Lesnar would slap the silly tattoos off his body. So yeah, it's an annoying situation to be in.
Reza, you're very heated right now. Maybe we should calm down. Maybe we should go to the next segment.
Shall we? But before we, let's just...
Okay, let's put this to bed.
Let us know what you made of the comments by Conor McGregor. Do you agree with him? Was it a business move? Was it a silly thing to say? Please get in touch. A quick break now from the main show. Time for some scoops.
I was going to say, I think you need some ice cream.
Yes, I do. I got quite a few scoops for you today, Arif.
Let's go.
Cool us down. We're just touching on the 5 biggest headlines / rumours every week. That just missed the show. At 5, we have Joey Styles being released from the WWE, along with Ryback. He's also parted ways with the organisation. Good luck to them both. I think the Ryback situation, everybody knew. It was just a matter of when, and yeah, his contract has now expired. He's now...
What was Joey Styles doing?
As far as I remember, Joey Styles was on WWE.com a lot.
Okay.
But I don't know exactly what... Maybe he was a producer. Maybe he was producing content online.
Why was he removed from the commentary team all those years ago?
I don't know. I remember the last thing he quit, wasn't it? And then...
But that was kayfabe, surely, because then he went and worked backstage.
Oh, of course, yeah. I'm just saying that's the last thing I remember of Joey Styles. After that, I've not heard. Are you just checking? Should I stall? What?
Oh no, I was taking a sip of water.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, am I not allowed to do that
anymore?
No,
that's fine.
No, it's fine. I will get rid of this bottle.
Ryback, I'm not sure what he's doing. Maybe he is taking outside bookings. I know he's got his own website. He's probably going to sell merchandise. He's going to do something. Obviously, he's not going to sit on his laurel and let the world fly by. At 4, WWE Universal Championship design rumours. Rumours have it that the new title is exactly the same as the WWE Championship, except the lettering will obviously say Universal instead of WWE. However, the WWE title currently held by Dean Ambrose, that swoosh and background is expected to become blue, while the Universal title swoosh will become red. And if you are interested in seeing what it could potentially look like, time to plug, go to our Instagram page, TME Podcast, have a look, leave a like.
There.
But yeah, I think technically you can say that's 2 new championships then, because the SmackDown will be getting a redesign as well.
See, I don't know why they didn't just call them the WWE Raw Heavyweight Championship and the WWE SmackDown Heavyweight Championship.
Exactly. If
Does that not make more sense?
Based on what the titles could potentially look like, it makes perfect sense.
Exactly. Because that way they look on the same level then. They're exactly the same. Whereas right now, I guess the WWE Championship is higher than the WWE Universal Championship.
You say that, but rumours do suggest that Universal title will be number 1.
That makes... Why? Why are they... Oh, wow.
And then they'll complain that SmackDown is still the B show.
But they look exactly the same.
Yeah. Oh, well. At 3, Shelton Benjamin is injured. He will be having surgery on a torn rotator, and he's not returning to WWE, unfortunately. Rumours suggest he was in line for an Intercontinental Championship run. Unfortunately, that won't be the case. I'm genuinely upset about that.
That really makes me sad, because he was a very good wrestler. Obviously, he's one of the all-time greats. I mean, 16-time world champion, Spinner-Rooney. He had those crazy dreadlocks. His younger brother, Stevie Ray, was there. It's crazy, man.
Yeah. I miss the gold standard, not the Booker T that you're referring to, but we won't go down that.
Okay.
At 2, AJ Styles at this time is expected to defeat Cena at SummerSlam. The feeling is that with Cena taking even more time off, especially with house shows, he's going to go film American Grit and whatnot. He's got more outside projects. It does make sense for Styles to win, especially because the feuds after SummerSlam are slated to be Ambrose and Styles for the title, while Orton will work with Wyatt. So that's interesting.
I'm looking forward to that. And I think with that as well, I think we predicted this, or we said that this is what had to happen a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense for John Cena to win, so let's just hope they follow through with it.
Hopefully. And a number 1, could be more potential spoilers here. I don't think it's anything that isn't common knowledge, though. I think you guys can decide for yourself. Brock Lesnar is now expected to compete for the Universal Championship at the Royal Rumble event, regardless of who the champion is at that time. This tells me Lesnar could be leaving SummerSlam as the winner. So,
man, who do you think he'll face at the Royal Rumble? Who do you think will be the Universal Champion by then?
It's a tough one now with the roster split. Options are limited. If Balor wins, I can see Balor holding it to the Royal Rumble.
But then it's a squash, isn't it?
I don't know, the Beast versus the Demon. It could be a good gimmick.
But Balor doesn't look like he could hold a candle to Lesnar.
I agree. Maybe Rollins, but we've seen that.
Yep.
I don't know. It's quite Roman Reigns if this Rusev feud works out.
Oh man, I'd rather see Rusev.
I'd rather see Rusev as well. That'd be a good fight. But yeah, I don't know. It's a tricky one to think about right now. I guess we have to see if he even beats Randy Orton to see where we go.
Let's go one pay-per-view at a time.
Yeah, let's do that. But yeah, those are our scoops. If you have any rumours of your own, please let us know. And let us know your thoughts on our scoops this week. And with that, we'll carry on. You're a scoop.
I have a scoop based on the AJ Styles scoop that you. It's like a side scoop. It's like do you want a little bit? Do you want a flake in your 99?
Go on then, give us the flake.
I'm the flake guy. Dolph Ziggler.
Dolph Ziggler.
I've heard he's going to lose.
Are you surprised?
I mean, no, but we explicitly said that he should win.
He should win. But
I can't believe the WWE is going against us.
What can you do?
It's like they just don't take our opinion seriously.
It is what it is, I guess. I mean, I tell you now, within 2 months he's going to be feuding with The Miz for the Intercontinental Championship. That's just how it goes.
What a feud that will be. And what a feud that will be.
Yeah. Oh, well. I think this is just a filler for Dean Ambrose to get another defense under his belt before things really step up with Styles.
Isn't that really sad, though? Isn't that really sad from what Dolph Ziggler was?
It is. Compare that night he cashed in to what it is now.
That night he cashed in was one of my favourite moments.
That pop, though, I mean, incredible. He's not going to reach those heights again, that's a fact. It's no matter how many times he has these chances, it's not going to happen again.
Rizla, he was there to show the world. He was there to show the world. Come on. Bring it on.
And with that, we move on with the show. And if you're a hardcore main event podcast fan, you'll know our first ever Instagram post was dedicated to Eva Marie. In particular, the news or rumours, I should say, doing the rounds online regarding her. Nothing bad. Last week we just touched on Daniel Bryan revealing that SmackDown will be getting new championships, the Women's Championship and the Tag Team Championships. Those same rumours suggesting our first Women's Champion will be Eva Marie.
Eva Marie is rumoured to be the first WWE Women's Champion on SmackDown. Yeah, that's what it says here.
Yep. What do you make of that?
The current injury angle is a good angle. It helps her gauge a lot more heat from the audience. Perfect heel champion to rival Sasha Banks on Monday Night Raw. Yeah, I agree with all of this. And so much so that I'm going to like it.
Are you on our Instagram?
I liked it with the Main Event Podcast Instagram. I can't.
You can't like our own picture.
We just liked it. We just liked our own picture. I can't undo it now.
That doesn't make us cool enough now.
No,
but yeah, what do you make?
Now.
What do you make of this, Eva Marie? I think half a year ago, if I asked you this, you would have laughed. But let's.
No, but that's the thing. I don't think I would have though, because half a year ago is when we heard that she was training with the Brian Kendrick, and all looked really good.
A year ago, then. A year ago, I said it.
Look, I wouldn't have known who she was a year ago. Yeah. I didn't watch TNA.
Okay.
She was there, right? She was in. Oh, was she in ROH?
I have no idea. As far
she
as
was somewhere. She was. She's never been in the WWE before, so.
Okay. Yeah. Eva Marie, what do you think? First Women's Champion on SmackDown.
Yeah. I mean, WWE has this tendency to push people that they want to push. Roman Reigns being a perfect example. John Cena being another one. Obviously, The Rock, Stone Cold. Stars aren't born, they're made. But they're made by the WWE.
Damien Sandow.
And exactly. My thoughts, exactly. And so, despite the fact that Eva Marie gets booed like crazy, despite the fact that she's definitely not the best wrestler on the roster, and despite the fact that currently that whole idea is being flipped on its head, and I'm sure we'll go on to it later on a little bit as well with one of the other articles that we have, but people like AJ Styles, people like Seth Rollins, good wrestlers are becoming the top persona and the top players, essentially, on each brand, and that's also the case with the women. Sasha Banks, Bayley, Charlotte, Becky Lynch, these sort of wrestlers are eclipsing the Bella Twins, Natalya, Alicia Fox, and all the other mediocre wrestlers, or the more model type wrestlers.
Yeah.
And it's strange that we're getting someone like Eva Marie coming up in this generation, when in previous generations we would have thought this was normal. I'm all for it, though, because they've given her a real personality, and this is something that they missed out on giving to someone like Roman Reigns. And I do pull the similarities quite a lot, because they're both people who potentially don't have a lot of talent in the ring, and they're being thrust into this position, but with the right sort of storyline, it works. And with Eva Marie, it works because she's coming in as a heel. People already hate her. She's coming in as a heel.
That's nuclear heat she's getting.
Exactly.
It's a different level of heat.
But it's working.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, look at the gimmick that she's been given. I mean, give us a rundown on the gimmick that she's been given.
As in now, right now.
Yeah, sure, go for it. Yeah.
I don't know.
Were you not ready for this? Sorry,
I don't know how to. I'm sure that wasn't written down. I don't know how
Surprise. to. So what's her music like? What's like? She comes out to like a weird.
The music's generic. It's her personal announcer you never see. The voiceover, you could say.
The music goes with the personal announcer.
Yeah, of course, perfect.
It's like a model walking down a runway sort of thing.
Yeah. I genuinely don't know how to describe this gimmick. It's just we've seen 2 weeks of it.
I guess it's more we get the Eva Marie that wants everything to be perfect, and if it's not perfect, she won't compete.
She looks important.
Exactly, yeah. But it's not in a bratty way.
Yeah.
It's more in a, I don't want to be embarrassed by this, or this has happened, therefore I can't compete to my fullest ability.
Yeah.
And obviously that's going to get under the fan's skin a little bit more than she already does, surprisingly. I didn't know there were more boos to be had for her, but it's working so well. She's entertaining to a degree. You love to hate her, and that's the personality that's coming through.
I think that's the thing I've been reading online more, forums, places like Reddit, is that people genuinely hate her.
No, but it helps that she's ridiculously hot.
Yeah, okay, we'll go with that. And
It really does.
but I think it's a fantastic idea as well. I'm not a big Eva Marie fan, forget big, I'm not an Eva Marie fan because I've not seen her wrestle properly. But it's...
Forget fan, I'm not Eva Marie.
I'm not Eva Marie. But it's clear that WWE do see a big future in it. She has a fantastic look. She has been in training. Well, what I like is that she's a heel. She is managing to handle this nuclear heat by the fans. That flamboyant entrance. I love the injury angle yesterday. Well, on Tuesday she had the wardrobe malfunction, so she couldn't compete. I'm just hoping that for her sake, this injury angle doesn't end in anticlimax. For her sake, I hope she does surprise the world by putting on a good match.
Did you see her tweets?
I've not seen her tweets, no.
Oh, she said, #pray for Eva.
Is that when she got injured?
That's awesome.
That's good.
This is great. This is exactly what it should be.
Perfect heel tactics there.
Exactly. And she did suffer originally from the Roman Reigns situation as well, where she was initially a face and it didn't really make sense. But now that she's a heel, it just works. And eventually, I'm really hopeful, eventually she'll get to turn face.
I think I've got to give her some credit. We know she was signed for Total Divas, but to turn around and say, I want to compete, you've got to give her credit for that. Because she could easily...
training. Do you know, as bad as she is in the ring, she's been training.
Yeah.
She has been training. She's been trying to get better and better.
You've got to give her that credit. She's got the opportunity, so why waste it? She's been training with one of the best wrestlers around, in Brian Kendrick. She could have easily just taken the checks to the bank with Total Divas appearances and media appearances.
And not have to do anything.
Exactly, but, good on her. But as I was saying, I hope her first match doesn't end in anticlimax. I hope she does surprise us by having a good match to show, the training has paid off. To make us think all along, she can lead SmackDown forward. If not, then it doesn't look too good for SmackDown.
Maybe she's going to dye her hair blue.
Maybe. I think this all red everything works for her.
Maybe she's on the wrong show for that.
I do think Raw has the better women superstars as a whole, though. So I think SmackDown's women will always have more pressure on them. I think they have one fewer athlete as well. But yeah, I think it's...
One fewer athlete?
One less athlete. I think it's...
Who's less?
As in... No, sorry. SmackDown has one less. I think Raw has 7. SmackDown has 6.
Oh! Is that how thin the roster is?
Yes.
Oh my... Why have they split these women up?
I don't know. And then you've got to consider... Bayley's call-up would benefit SmackDown, but based on WWE logic, she'll end up on Raw. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
what about I'm Not Like Most Girls?
She's on Raw already.
What do you mean?
You've not seen it. I've been watching.
No, but I mean, why is she on Raw and not SmackDown?
I mean, if it came to it now, if today I had to decide who I want as my heel champion on SmackDown, I'd pick Nia Jax over Eva Marie. But I think it is good. Goodness. It is good to counter Raw's uber face champion Sasha Banks with a heel. I think Eva Marie can offer more as a heel champion now in 2016 than Natalya could, for example. I do think
we need to. I'm just shocked right now. We need to talk about the state of the women's division on both shows.
It's terrible, isn't it?
So who's on Raw? So you've got Charlotte, Sasha Banks.
Yep.
Nia Jax. Are the Bella twins anywhere?
No. What was her name? Nikki Bella wasn't in the draft.
Okay. What about Brie retired? Okay.
Yeah.
What about so we've got those 3, and then 4 others that aren't really important, I guess.
Well, I mean, you've got Summer Rae, I believe, is on Raw.
Okay. Lana is on Raw, but she's a valet. Does she even count?
She doesn't count, no. I think, what was it? It is...
This is so...
Alicia Fox,
okay.
Charlotte,
okay.
Dana Brooke, Nia Jax, Paige, Sasha Banks, Summer Rae.
Okay. And SmackDown is the rest of them, and that's just... It's just a shame. We even saw Alexa Bliss this week on SmackDown.
The rest being Alexa Bliss, Becky Lynch, Carmella, Eva Marie, Naomi, Natalya. So already they have so much more pressure to try and put on a better women's segment or women's match than Raw, which they can't because Raw has the better women. Mm-hmm. It's as simple as that. But back to Eva Marie, I think she will be a better heel champion than Natalya today. I do think it's a little early for Alexa Bliss to play the role as the heel champion. Mm-hmm. Even though she picked up a massive debut win over Becky Lynch, so congratulations to her. Good start. I do think between the two, Eva Marie could handle it a lot better. Mm-hmm. And I want to see a bit of change as well, so I guess it's a waiting game. The way I see it is you can't give the fans exactly what they want, because then we'll complain it's predictable. If we had it our way, Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch would be the champions, and we'd complain when they lose, or internet fans would complain when they lose. They'd
have a fabulous Moolah title length.
Yeah,
reign.
exactly. And as much as I love Becky Lynch, I want her to do well. Faces do make better challenges, and I think is why I prefer Eva Marie in her current heel role, which is perfect for her.
I think
as a champion.
the test is going to be when Eva Marie gets in the ring fully, and we actually see a match from her on the main roster.
Biggest question mark is, I think,
you've got to back it up. If you don't, then you get stale, and then people hate you because people ultimately want to watch wrestling, male or female. It doesn't really matter anymore. Gone is the stigma that women's wrestling is terrible, and that's because of people like Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, I don't even know where I'm going with this. Becky Lynch, Charlotte, and to a lesser extent Natalia and Alicia Fox and people like that. She really needs to step it up, and she needs to get to those heights quickly, and we need to see that from her. And if this is all just a stalling game from the WWE, then they'll get found out very quickly.
Do you think it could be SummerSlam then, her first match, where everything goes to plan, no wardrobe malfunctions, no injuries? Good way to make your, I guess, re-debut.
It would be a great way, but I can also see that being a really, really bad match.
It's a bigger test as well on SummerSlam, where all eyes are on you on a 4+ hour show.
Sure.
Where every move will be scrutinized. Sure. I think she'll obviously be better than what we've already seen. That's a guarantee, because she's been training for so long. But as you said, the biggest question mark is in ring. If she can put on a good match, we don't even need a 5-star classic like we see with people.
It needs to be watchable.
Yeah, that's what it is. No botches. You can't have that now. I think she could have got away with that without this importance surrounding her. Mm-hmm. But now she needs, this gimmick is working for her. All eyes are on her. The rumours are she's going to be the champion, so she needs to make it work. It's in her hands. And I'm supporting her 100%. Perfect choice.
Likewise, and the main event podcast hosts are supporting her 100%.
Yes, we are.
We want her to do well. Whether we think that she will or not is a different question completely.
I don't even think it's in the WWE's hands. If they see enough in her to think we're going to make her the champion, she needs to go out and prove it now.
And the fans will accept her.
Yeah. If she goes out and proves it, they've got a star in their hands straight away. Biggest heel female on the roster, leapfrogging Charlotte by so much. Because she's genuinely hated, which is good for her. Surprisingly. But yeah, let us know what you think of the Eva Marie rumours. Should she be the first champion? Should Becky Lynch get the shot at being the champion? She hasn't held the NXT championship or the women's championship, while her friends have. So yeah.
Do we have any scoops on what the women's championship on SmackDown will be called or will look like?
Shall we just say it's going to be blue?
I think that's probably accurate.
Yeah. No designs have been leaked on that.
Do you think it will just be the exact same championship as it is on Raw?
I think if the Universal gets the same design as WWE, then it only makes sense to have the women's title the same. But I think the tag team needs to be different for sure. You can't have the £2 coins as your tag team championships.
True.
On 2 penny coins, it's not £2. Two pennies.
The 2 pennies.
But yeah, I can see Eva Marie as the champion doing well. But yeah, let's move on. Focusing on Vince McMahon now. Vince McMahon, Finn Balor, and Roman Reigns. The full story, if you do want to know about this, what I'm about to say, is on Give Me Sports, so a little more shameless plugging there. Will be in the description. Basically, Vince McMahon has soured on Roman Reigns. We know
what?
We know that.
No, we don't know that.
Is
he really?
Yeah, I think that's why losing clean in matches, not being in the main event, not being in the World Championship picture, all linked together. But even before his anti-doping violation, rumours suggest he was open to other stars from the roster showing him what they're made of and why they deserve the spot instead. He's now super impressed with Finn Balor. And again, this is why Reigns is in the United States Championship picture and Balor's going for the Universal Championship, because the original plan was to have Rollins and Reigns battle for the title at SummerSlam. Then you can date this back to last year. Vince McMahon wanted to call Finn Balor up to the main roster. I forgot what month it was, seriously. And then Sami Zayn got injured, as we know. Hideo Itami was injured on NXT.
So this was during the
Kevin
John
Owens.
Cena.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he wanted Finn Balor to come up then, but Triple H, I don't know if he begged or whatever, he said he needs Balor to do on NXT because they've lost 2 big stars. Vince reluctantly accepted that, went with Kevin Owens, with a successful feud. Cena eventually came out on top. I think they've been trying to call him up for a while. This was the perfect time to do it. And the big story here is Vince McMahon wants, or he already has, decided that Finn Balor will be the top face of the company and not Roman Reigns. Which might come as a surprise to some people, might not to others. Vince did personally make Balor look stronger on his Raw debut because the original script had Finn Balor ducking the Superman punch, rolling Reigns up for what would be a lucky win. You can say that, it would be a lucky win. As we know, this was changed. Finn Balor actually hit the coup de grace on Reigns for a clean win. Massive statement from Vince.
So that's huge.
That is massive.
For Vince, really wouldn't have put that down to Vince. If anything, you would have put that down to Triple H.
Apparently, Vince McMahon is still booking the shows. People thought it was Triple H. Last week when Raw and SmackDown were good, it was difficult to pick a winner. And the first week, everyone thought, what the hell, Sasha Banks has won. Finn Balor's here. Apollo Crews didn't more contend. Everyone thought Triple H is booking the show. But Dave Meltzer, again, there with even bigger scoops than mine, saying...
He's got huge scoops.
He's got huge scoops, man. I'm jealous. He said Vince is still booking the shows. Everything still runs through him. So if he wanted to turn down an idea, he'd do that. He's still booking the shows. He's impressed with Balor effectively replacing Reigns.
I've just got this image of you in a little ice cream truck, and then Dave Meltzer pulls up in his
massive
ride
version.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, "Here, kids, have this scoop because this scoop is the best scoop." And my name is Dave Meltzer, and I just like to talk about wrestling. And there were several different shows this week. We had Raw, we had SmackDown. SmackDown's on Tuesday, but Raw is on the Monday, and
But yeah,
he talks a lot.
He does. I think that was another little thing to notice. I mean, I don't think fans would have paid attention. Oh yeah, Balor hit the coup de grace. We're in a new era. This was supposed to happen.
No, but we noticed these sorts of things, and we were very complimentary.
Yeah, of course.
We noticed these things, so you don't have to.
Massive statement to make that, though. For Roman Reigns, someone he's focused on so much, who's main evented 2 consecutive WrestleManias, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
the boat's out.
3-time WWE World Heavyweight Champion.
And it's not being pulled back in.
Invested a lot in him. I should also add, Vince also wants to keep Rollins a heel, as he thinks he could be the biggest heel of all time.
Well, Vince is an idiot.
Well, I mean, do you think that is a wise decision to have a 35-year-old Finn Balor replace, I think, a 31-year-old Roman Reigns as the top star in the company?
I thought Finn Balor was 38.
No, not yet. Still.
Oh, okay. In 3 years,
yeah.
I thought he would be 38. Finn Balor's already shown that he can be the face of a company. He was the face of NXT for nearly a year. Why not bring him into the main roster and put him straight into that position? I mean, we know he can do it.
Mm-hmm.
The only problem is there are a couple of people that I would put there before him.
Of course.
And I think that's Kevin Owens, number one. Kevin Owens deserves to be the face of a show. And to be fair, he deserves to be the face of SmackDown.
That's what the biggest criticism we had. Sami Zayn and Owens should have been split up.
Yep.
One of them could have been on SmackDown. I think Owens would have been the perfect heel. I agree with you 100%.
Mm-hmm. Sami Zayn as well is the second name I'd say there. I think Sami Zayn has shown that he can hang with the best of them. He had one of the best matches of the year when he faced Shinsuke Nakamura at NXT TakeOver.
Do you think it's because there was so much hype surrounding Balor's debut that he's in this position that everyone's talking about him, and it's not based on the talent? That it should have been Sami Zayn there, not Balor.
I mean, we know that Finn Balor is talented.
Of course,
that's beyond question. I think the problem that we have is maybe Balor was brought in too early into that position. But then you can never say that because he deserves to be there. He does deserve to be there. There is no ifs, buts, or maybes. It's just I personally would have preferred to see those two names in the main event picture before Finn Balor. And in that sort of respect, maybe this is the right time to bring up Balor, but they should have been in the main event earlier.
Let's think of it this way then. Balor came onto the main roster last year, and Sami Zayn made his debut 2 weeks ago. Who would have been in the main event? Who deserves to be in the main event then?
Finn Balor.
Yeah. So you're saying, it basically is saying there's so much hype surrounding Balor's arrival. Every month there were rumors saying he's going to come. Now he's finally here. You have to put him there.
But I think this instance works better for him because he's come up and not everyone knows who he is, but the people that know who he is know that he's amazing, and he has more of a serious vibe to him than maybe someone like Sami Zayn. Now, really, obviously, I hate doing the comparisons because this is all about Finn Balor, and it's working right now, so it doesn't really matter what we think. But Finn Balor's character is made for the main event, whereas I think Sami Zayn's is a little bit more for the upper mid card at the moment.
Do you really think that? Because people have been saying Sami Zayn is going to be the new Daniel Bryan, the underdog who keeps getting screwed over, and they will have this massive moment.
And I think that's what we need to get to, and we had it in NXT.
Yeah.
We had exactly that in NXT because he went against Adrian Neville so many times, couldn't beat him, eventually beat him, and then got screwed over. And then we had that feud that's now come to the main roster that's been going on for years between him and Kevin Owens. It's the story that writes itself, but Finn Balor is your main event. From day one, he can be in your main event, and he's believable, he's serious, he's there, he's got that main event experience from all over the world. He could be your brand leader, your brand champion, and the face of the company.
Good decision, would you say then?
Definitely.
To replace.
I think so. What do you think?
I think so as well. I think the people that don't know him will at SummerSlam when the Demon does come. I don't know if he's going to come next week. I know Seth Rollins has said something about wanting to go face to face with him next week. I think that would be a wasted appearance.
Premature. Way premature.
You need to have that SummerSlam. But yeah, back to this. I think it's a good decision. It's not Balor's fault. It's not Roman Reigns' fault. The fans are invested in Balor. That's a fact. He's white hot right now. And you need to capitalize on that popularity before he doesn't matter anymore. And before fans don't care. Because you can think a few years down the line when he does work his way up, who knows what the fans will think of him, who knows how popular he'll be. We'll have seen the Demon so many times. Little things like that.
I think that's the problem that ended up coming out in NXT.
Yeah.
Because once you've seen the Demon 3 or 4 times, it doesn't feel as special anymore.
That's why he had to switch it up. I think in London he wanted to come on a horse, but they couldn't do that. He came with a chainsaw instead. So he will continue to switch it up. But yeah, let's just say he wasn't in this position right now. He got a title shot next year. There's no real appeal because you've seen the Demon. You've seen what Balor brings. There's no surprise. I think right now the shock factor is what the WWE are running with. So I don't see the point of the WWE wasting this Reigns experiment that hasn't worked out, let's be honest, and let Balor waste away in the mid-card scene. I think Reigns, if not a heel turn, needs an organic push as a face.
Yes, which is what he's potentially going to get in this feud.
As talented as both men are, can't discredit Roman Reigns completely. I do think Reigns, based on the experience he's had on the main roster, does add miles more value to the mid-card scene than Balor does right now. Because Balor's not established, he's going to cause the shock and sit at the top of the tree, whereas Roman Reigns, who's been handed opportunity after opportunity, knows what it's like to main event, knows what it's like to hold championships, can go, make that United States title mean something. And I think you have to use Balor as much as possible right now. I do think the age factor comes into it a little bit. 35 years old, seeing as 38, 39, on his way out. Reigns has plenty of time.
It's the same. But then it's the same argument that we had with AJ Styles last week. He hasn't got the WWE miles on him.
Yeah.
And I really think the WWE miles are huge because you're on the road so much. You're moving from place to place. Whereas with these other companies, you've got time off. You've got the ability to say, okay, I'm going to work for 6 months, then take 6 months break. Or with someone like AJ Styles, you're based in one place for 5 years and you're not moving. Finn Balor also had that when he was in Japan. He's also had that when he's at when he's been at the lesser promotions. So I think WWE is completely different, and we'll see someone like Finn Balor around for at least 10 years.
Fair point. But yeah, I do think Reigns does have, based on that, Reigns has plenty of time to make it. So I don't think he needs to think, what have I done wrong? I'm never going to get to the top again. Because rumours do suggest if this Rusev thing works out well, and the fans do get on his side, they're going to throw him back into that position.
Oh, no!
That's why it's bittersweet, isn't it?
It's way too soon.
It is too soon. I do think Reigns needs to lose at some
point. Look, they tried this last time, though, did they not? They had Reigns versus Big Show in the mid card. They had Reigns versus Sheamus and all these mid card feuds, and it still didn't work. And it still built up to Triple H versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, and people booed Roman Reigns because it didn't feel like we'd taken a break from it. And just because one feud goes well doesn't mean that he deserves to be in the main event.
I think Roman Reigns needs to stay out of the World Championship picture until after WrestleMania.
For a long time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think WrestleMania would be the earliest he should come back.
Yep.
But yeah, as I said, I agree. If the decision is made, it's not concrete. If the decision is made to have Balor as the face, can't argue with it. He brings a lot to the table. And people are clearly enjoying it.
We definitely are.
Yes, we are.
Where was everyone this week, Rosa?
What do you mean?
All the superstars weren't there. All the good superstars weren't
Yeah,
there.
I think New Zealand tour. I think they had to leave early.
New Zealand?
I think they're coming back already.
What?
Yeah, I think because Jericho tweeted.
They went for a day.
Yeah, I guess it takes a day to get there as well, so you can count that as part of it. I think it's a poor timing as well to have this kind of tour.
So they flew over to New Zealand to fly back from New Zealand.
Effectively, yes, you could say that. That's what I don't understand. In the build up to SummerSlam as well, you don't have your biggest stars there.
I thought shows like this or tours like this happened after big pay-per-views. So WrestleMania, you usually get the European tour a month afterwards.
That's what should happen. That's why I was confused as well. Like, why now? You've just started your brand split, a new era. Wait a little bit.
Speaking of tour, have we got tickets for Raw this year?
We haven't.
SmackDown?
We haven't. It's at the SSE Hydro Arena in Scotland.
Why is it so far away?
I don't know. I'm assuming it's Manchester next year.
Okay. Then we will get on that and we will get tickets and we will make sure we bring one of you with us.
Yeah, you can pay for their tickets, mate.
What? Huh? No, they have to be from Manchester.
You'll still pay for their ticket.
I will pay for their ticket.
So yeah, let us know what you think
from the funds from the jar in the corner.
I spent that.
The jar is empty. Just check the jar.
Let us know your thoughts on this Roman Reigns Finn Balor situation, whether you agree or disagree with Vince of making that massive decision. Before we move on to the final segment, next week we will be looking at Rollins and Balor in a little more depth. In particular, one rumor that's been going around. So we are going to wait and see if any more news breaks on it. I don't know if I should tell them what it is now or leave it till next week.
Do it.
Potentially.
Give the people what they want.
Do the people want the scoop? They've had 5, and your side scoop, and Dave Meltzer's big scoops.
Want the scoop?
Another scoop. Potentially. It's in relation to Rollins, Balor, and the club.
Okay.
All I'm going to say is.
I mean, I think everyone knows where you're going with this. Surely the club are going to join up with Finn Balor, and they're going to run Raw, and then we're going to potentially get a run-in with AJ Styles in the future. It's the only way.
Not quite, my friend. We might see a different leader, so stay tuned for next week. I think there's only one option left, really.
Don't say that bit. Oh my god, who could it be?
But yeah, it's a rumour at the minute. We'll see what happens during the week before we speak much about it. So yeah, if you're interested in hearing our thoughts and potential updates on that, please come back next week. Right then, in the main event.
Imagine if AJ Styles came to Raw and he was like, "Look, I got my own club," and he brought out the Ascension.
Oh man, do you think that would make him relevant, or are they just a lost cause?
I think they're beyond anything that could make them relevant right now.
Yeah. Right.
When they came out on SmackDown this week, I genuinely didn't know who they were.
Really? I thought.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's such a fall from grace considering they were like one of the best tag teams to come from NXT, and then I think it's one promo that changed their life when they were dissing the legends.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well. So yeah, in the main event this week, as always, we're looking at SmackDown Live and Monday Night Raw. This is week 3 of the battle between the two brands. Monday Night Raw 2-0 up, could make it a 3-zip lead in the first 3 weeks. Arif, based on what we saw on Raw and SmackDown, I know you've watched, who wins week 3 of this war for you?
Rosa, what did we see on Raw and SmackDown?
We didn't see Finn Balor.
We didn't see Finn Balor. What else didn't we see?
We didn't see a lot. I mean...
Didn't see Seth Rollins?
No. We saw Cesaro twice.
Didn't see Brock Lesnar?
No.
Didn't see Randy Orton on any show?
Were you watching?
Didn't see John Cena?
Okay.
Oh, we did see Randy Orton.
Yes, we did.
Oh, sorry. Okay, there's me skipping through SmackDown again. We didn't see John Cena.
Okay.
Didn't see AJ Styles.
Mm-hmm.
Where are the big superstars?
New Zealand.
Didn't see Big E Langston.
That's an interesting one. He's injured, isn't he?
Is he actually injured?
No, it's kayfabe, of course.
Okay.
He's supposed to come back at SummerSlam, but
okay.
Yeah. What do you think? It's a tough decision, isn't it? I think for me, it's something.
We can always say that wrestling loses
Well, we lost.
So WWE lost. How about every week that they end up drawing, the main event podcast gets a point?
But then we'll win this whole competition, and then it's just...
Well, so far it's Raw 2, the main event podcast 1, SmackDown 0.
Is that what we're going with?
I think we should. I think we genuinely should. So every time they lose, we gain a point. And we'll see maybe after every pay-per-view or after every 10 shows where we're up to. And if we've won, then it's a sorry state for wrestling.
That's fine by me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know where to begin. I think out of the 3 weeks so far, this week has been the worst by far.
It's just business as usual. And obviously you can put it down to the fact that nobody was there. But it was still a very average show. And you know Raw's going to be bad when Cesaro's in the main event because he's a great wrestler, but they don't put him there unless they genuinely have to and they're trying to appease people.
I think it's something I'm genuinely gutted about because I was looking forward to things this week. Yeah. I thought heading into SummerSlam, both shows would go all out, try to make a statement of intent. I think for me this week, it felt like having to pick the lesser of two evils, let's say. I felt both shows were relatively weak. Granted, superstars weren't there. And I do hope in this next week they really step it up. Quality of matches, I think, were a little better on Raw. I was impressed with Cesaro and Sheamus. I thought their match was okay. The highlight for me on both shows probably Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows segment. I thought that was pretty good. I mean, if I had to pick, I'd pick Raw, but I think it's such fine margins. I'll happily take the point from them and give it to the main event podcast.
It was very average from both shows. It just seemed like business as usual, and business as usual being this pre-brand extension wrestling show. It was really difficult to genuinely be interested in this week when it just felt like it was meandering along and they just wanted the week to end so they can go to the go-home show, the actual end show before the pay-per-view, and really just try and hype things up and build things up with their main eventers, where we'll see people like Brock Lesnar, we'll see Randy Orton in that feud, we'll see John Cena, we'll see AJ Styles, we'll see Finn Balor, and we'll see Seth Rollins as well. We'll get these superstars that people pay their money to see. I mean, imagine going to that show. You'd be disappointed. Or either of those shows, you'd be disappointed because you're there with your John Cena headband, your John Cena wristband, your John Cena t-shirt, your John Cena underwear, and you've not seen John Cena. You'd be really disappointed.
Especially on SmackDown, that's where you expect to see him.
Oh no, I would. Yeah, you would have only got tickets for SmackDown.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
I would be at Raw.
Even
then, I'd be upset.
Yeah. It just felt like SmackDown was a B show again, because even though Raw was bad in 3 hours, SmackDown was worse in 2 hours.
Yep.
There was nothing there that made it feel like a must-see show.
A must show.
Yeah, I mean, this really upset me because I genuinely thought it was going to be a really good week for wrestling, and I was looking forward to it as well, if I'm being honest. So I think
it's been very mediocre.
Yeah, so hopefully next week, I'm more than happy to lose these points. So please, WWE.
We need good wrestling so we can talk about good stuff.
Exactly.
Instead of complaining again.
And
this just sounds like we're back in last year when we used to complain about wrestling all the time.
Yeah, so much negativity.
It was horrible.
I know, but yeah, that's settled then. Neither show wins. The main event podcast wins, and we'll.
The main event podcast wins. Woo!
Yep. Well, I'm afraid that was all we have time for this week. I don't know if it's a sad note or a happy note that we got a point. It's a bit confusing.
Let's just, you know what? Why complain?
We're
beating SmackDown right now.
The standards weren't high. There's nothing to beat.
We're beating SmackDown. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but yeah,
thanks.
Thanks to all of you that stuck around to the end to listen. We'd love to hear any and all of your thoughts. So please do get in touch and make sure you follow us, like, recommend, subscribe on Podomatic, YouTube, iTunes, SoundCloud, Instagram, wherever you can find us. Anywhere, literally anywhere. If you see Arif in the street, you can follow him. But yeah, big thank you to Arif for joining me today.
Thank you, Reza. It's been a pleasure.
No, and we will be back next week with another episode with much more to talk about and discuss, including Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, and the club. I've been your host, Reza, and you've been listening to the Main Event Podcast.
Now, about that top billing thing, do I still get that next week, or is that just for a 1 week?
I'm going to evaluate your performance.
Okay.
And we'll discuss in the meeting.
Okay.
Don't hold your hopes too high.
They're already high.
I'm sorry.